special night here on the Buddy Martin Show. Thanks for joining us. Tell your friends and neighbors to check us out right now. We skipped the open because we got tonight's interview with Coach Jon Sumrall. Long-awaited interview with the head coach at Florida. Been like almost 5 years. Appreciate that. We'll have that in just a minute. Tell you more about it. Also on the program tonight, as always, Allie Pete Wilbur, who was really one of the first to interview Summerall. She'll join us and we'll talk about her interview, and she'll be able to see this. We'll talk about that Franz Beard, who was with me when we talked to Coach Summerall earlier today, and shout out to Brendan Martin for his help on that. We will talk to what Franz thought about it, and then we've got Kevin Brockway. How could we not talk about the Florida basketball team? What a story it is right now. First little breaking news. Sadly, Lou Holtz died today, age 89. His family announced it. Legendary football coach, ESPN analyst, led 6 college programs and won the 1988 national title at Notre Dame. Skip Holtz said, "My father passed away today, resting peacefully at home. I appreciate everyone's thoughts and prayers over the last couple of months. He was successful, but more importantly, he was significant." By the way, Terry Bradshaw, who's spoken for the Washington Speakers Bureau for 100 years, said he was number 2 on the list of highest paid speakers. Number 1 was always Lou Holtz. So he could do that. A lot of people. My favorite Lou Holtz quote, and we're going to move on, and we got Coach Summerall coming up here in a minute, was his best advice, and I've used this a lot of times. Quote, "Don't tell other people about your problems. 90% don't care, and the other 10% are glad you have them." Lou Holtz. That's my favorite quote from him. Also, I want to thank Meldon Law tonight for their support of this. We've waived their usual commercial time to be able to get time with Coach Summerall. And I want to remind you, folks, of the 3 Heismans coming up, 2 events, one legendary day, March 30th, legendary gala at Steve Spurrier's restaurant. First time ever in setting for the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York City. 3 legends coming to Gainesville. Join Steve Spurrier, Danny Werfel, and Tim Tebow for the Legends of Gala at Spurrier's Grand Grill. March 30th. There are 2 of those. I'll tell you more about it later in the show. And so we'll see if we can get cracking here and get rolling on this interview. We're optimistic that we're going to be able to do it, despite the fact that we've had issues. And by the way, a quick comment to you folks who've been so frustrated trying to get on our site, GatorBaitMedia.com. Well, we've been down for a day. They hacked us. So Brendan Martin is furiously working on that, trying to get us up and going. And we hope that will be soon, but you can't go any faster than what you can go. So with that, let's see if technology will give us an opportunity here to play the interview tonight we had with the coach of the Florida Gators. It was interesting and fun. And time is importance here. We're going to try to honor that and keep it respectful. But I got to tell you, we talk on ball. We tend to go along. We love it. That's what we do. Of course, I know all the time. Work. Hang on. Okay, we'll put that on hold for a second and come back, and we'll see what's going on there. As usual, No. Mm-hmm. All right, stand by while we talk to Brendan. He'll talk us through this. Brendan, I can't seem to get it to roll. What do I do?
Hit the play button on.
I did. All right, where is it?
You hover over the interview tab that's right on the bottom of the screen where you turn up the volume on the video.
Okay, I'm over it right now, and I'm hitting it. I'm not getting any audio. What do I do? Okay, we're going to come Brendan to the rescue again. This is how it's been all day, and we're we're efforting to get this thing resolved. And this is what we didn't want to happen. We spent a lot of time on it today, so we'll have this interview. You can see it's playing, and we'll have it going here in just a moment. So stay with us, Brendan to the rescue. Meanwhile, let's see what I can find out to talk to you about, folks, as you're looking at the interview today. Went well today. I was very pleased with it, except for this part where it doesn't seem to want to cooperate. Let me see here. I want to tell you about it. Stand by. I told you about Lou Holtz passing away. I didn't know Lou, and I wasn't particularly a fan of Lou's per se. But I know that he was revered, and he was a great speaker, and he was a great coach to many people. And they tell me that he was quite the guy. Urban Meyer was a big fan of his, and he was Urban's mentor. He was able to get to know him well. And one of the great stories Urban told, and he repeated it the other day, talking about this, saying that when he was trying to get a job, Lou Holtz reminded him one day that he needed to go interview. And while we're waiting on Brendan, we'll do this. Lou Holtz had a great story, and they told him he should go interview for a job. Keep it respectful, but I got to tell you, when we talk on ball, we tend to go along. We love it. That's what we do all the time. So give me a summation of what the first couple of days are like.
Yeah, I mean, Monday we did a 7 a.m. special teams meeting, 7:30 team meeting. Then offense lifts, defense meets for about an hour, trade, then a walkthrough, a special teams walkthrough, then an O versus D walkthrough. That was Monday. Then yesterday, we have a little bit of position meeting time. No, we don't team meet or special teams meet on the practice days because the practice days, the meetings are really quick and we get out to the grass pretty fast. We do like some offense defense split things. The defense will work like a takeaway circuit early before practice, then another walkthrough before practice, special teams walk again before practice on practice days, and then flex and go straight to period one, which is special teams, and a lot of high energy, fast transitions. I asked a recruit yesterday, I'm like, hey, what did you think of today's practice? He's like, Coach, it felt really organized and at the same time chaotic. And I'm like, well, that's what it's supposed to feel like. It's football practice. So it was good. Guys' energy's been good. We had our non-practice day today, which is, like I said, at 7 o'clock. Is the first meeting starts at 7, which really means they got to be in the meeting room at 6:50 because if they're not 10 minutes early, I'll lose my mind on them. So they were there all sitting there at 6:50 ready to go this morning.
Coach, France don't want this to be a conversation and not an interrogation. But I want to ask you, when's the last time you had fun doing this with somebody?
Doing what? These
what we're doing right, because you've been doing a ton. I want to thank you on behalf of the media, by the way.
Yeah, I enjoy the conversations, especially, to be honest with you, they're all enjoyable for me, but the more local, homegrown, even probably the more enjoyable, because it's people that have got really, an intimate relationship with the program or the history of the program and a knowledge of what this place is about that I think makes it cool and unique to hop on and spend time with the people that have covered Florida athletics and particular Florida football for a long time.
Well, I'll tell you, got two guys here. We got represent almost a century of golf announcers since we first started covering this. I won't go into our details, But again, I want to thank you. Let me ask this question, and I'll get friends over here, let him ask a couple. So I know your time is precious. Would Florida have really canceled spring practice if they didn't make the gauntlet?
It would have gotten postponed. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't starting spring ball until we beat the gauntlet. And so I think the guys thought I was kidding at first when I said that. And then it's like they just thought all of a sudden we're just going to say, oh, you beat it. And it's like, no, you have to beat it. Like no different than being an opponent. You're not going to get given anything. And so we were a week out from spring ball and we had not beaten it. And we weren't going to just give it to them. They had to earn it. And if they did not earn it, we would have, this week we'd still be doing the gauntlet. And I would have pushed spring ball back. I don't know if I would have canceled it, but I would have postponed it for damn sure. Now, canceling it would be hard to do because we needed the practice, but we would have amended it. It would have either been abbreviated or cut down or moved back. But we were not going to proceed with starting spring ball until the gauntlet had been accomplished and defeated properly.
Urban Meyer is a friend of ours. I wrote his book and had him on the show a bunch of times. We talked about, we were there when he did this and took everything away and wouldn't let him touch the Gator's nose and all that. I know you probably knew some of that, but you also kind of did it on your own. I also know you talked to Urban and you had some really good conversations because I talked to him last week and he told me about your conversation. How much, I know it means a lot to you to have his support. Talk about Urban, his style of coaching, and him even saying, agreeing that maybe you guys were, I say you guys, the team was a little soft.
Yeah, look, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Urban Meyer, like extremely successful at all of his stops, going back to Bowling Green. I think that's one of the things I appreciate about Coach Meyer career-wise and in our conversations is before coming to Florida, he did it at Bowling Green and at Utah. And so then he came here and obviously elevated Florida football and winning 2 national championships, doing things the way he did them. I have a lot of respect for. In our conversation before I accepted the job here, I really enjoyed kind of just spending some time talking through what he had done, but also how we have done things since I've been a head coach, and getting his feedback on some of that stuff was really enjoyable. I every time I get on the phone or on a call with Urban, I feel like, man, I'm like, I could have this conversation way longer than what I probably have time for. Like we end up having conversations. I'm like, man, I got 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is on my books for this time, for this conversation to be had. And I'm like, I wish I could have an hour because I'd really enjoy picking his brain. I like hearing his thought process, his mindset, how he's wired. There's a lot of things that I do, to be quite honest, that I have derived from coaches like Coach Meyer.
Next time I see you, I'll bring a copy of this book up here called Urban's Way, which I wrote with Urban. Franz Beard down there has been covering the Gator sports, a lot of basketball writing books. Let him jump in there and ask you a couple.
You talk about toughness a lot, and that's greatly appreciated, I know, by the Gator Nation. Talk about what goes into it, because, I think everybody has this idea that it's all about physical strength and stuff like that, but toughness involves so much more. Would you talk about that?
Yeah, a firm believer, friends, that mental toughness precedes physical toughness. The mind tells the body what to do. I also believe that toughness is trained, and you're either trained or you're untrained. We're all born as babies, and babies naturally are soft. When you say it's soft as a baby's bottom, like, man, babies are soft, and we're all coming to this world that way. And you have to callous yourself to doing things that are hard and embracing things that are hard. And it starts with your mind. It starts with how you're made up. And, you mentally have to make your mind up that you're never going to quit. You're never going to back down, that you find ways to make yourself comfortable being uncomfortable in environments that are challenging. And so we make sure we push our guys to become mentally tough, because there's going to be adversity in this game. I've never been a part of a season that hasn't had some type of adversity in it. And when the adversity hits, how do you handle it? Are you rattled easily, or do you weather storms? Do you stand up on your feet? You pick yourself up. You find a way to see things through and get the job done. And so I think it's something we've challenged this team to do. I'm into being smart, tough, not dumb tough. You know, like I'm not asking our guys like, hey, go run into a wall and tell me how that feels. That's stupid. Like that's not being tough. That's being dumb. I do want them to push themselves to places they've never gone before, though, because that's how you build confidence that when things get hard, you're going to find a way to get the job done.
The other question I'd have it involves this. I see you there by Todd a lot, sitting like reach out and touch distance. He's created a culture here and a mentality. It's an all for one, one for all. You got 15 basketball players and maybe 30 assistants and staffers. You can do it with 45. Can it be done with 200, which is what you got? You got 120 players, coaches, staffers, everything. Can it be done with 200 people?
Oh, it can most certainly be done. Yeah, I think it's very challenging because of the roster size and the attrition and the depth you have to have in really all parts of your team, but in particular the line of scrimmage. I think that's probably the biggest challenge in our world is building depth across your front. But, yeah, you have to create an environment where there's connectivity. I think that's something that I spend a ton of time on. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Todd, man. Like I've loved getting to know him. You know, he and I spoke as well, kind of like I spoke with Urban before taking this job. Todd and I spoke before I took the job here. And just to watch how he's built that basketball program during his time here, you know, and what he's done has been so impressive. I think their first year they were about a 500 team, and then just see how they've kind of steadily climbed and built a program that's lasting, that's sustainable, that finds a way to win games in a lot of different ways. And so, man, really, it's been awesome connecting with him. It's been cool connecting with all the coaches on campus. Like we've got across the board, our coaches at the University of Florida are highly successful people that I feel blessed to work alongside and get to know and see how they've done it, all the way to, you know, Mouse, to Coach Walton, to Sully, all of them. Like just really, really awesome to be able to sort of learn what's made them successful and what makes Florida special.
I want to ask you about this because you sound like you're crazy when you say it. I'm going to react. I'm going to interact with every player if I can every day. Talk about connectivity. Now, I know you probably know you can't, but the fact that you would try to do it and state it is noble.
Well, I think the level of the interaction may be surfacey at times, but like we do a deal at the start of every practice, right after flex is over, and a deal at the end of every practice, right when the last play is done, where we mix it up as a team. And so the offense and defense comes together, and we spend about a minute just circling around sort of the logo at midfield and high-fiving each other and dapping each other up. And so that interaction someday with a guy may be that. And it's very short, but there's connectivity there. Then at practice, you know, I don't stay in one spot and watch one position group all day. I move around. I'm very active at practice, evaluating everyone, interacting with a lot of different people. And so for me, it's important. I'm the head coach of the whole team. I'm not the head coach of the offense. I'm not the head coach of the defense. I'm not the head coach of the special teams. I do have great coordinators of all three areas of that. So our offensive coordinator, Buster Faulkner, our defense coordinator, Brad White, and our special teams coordinator, Jonathan Galante. I have a great amount of faith in all of them. They're all very talented. They all do a great job. But it's not okay for me to be an innocent bystander to just kind of casually watch what they do. I want to be in the weeds with as many people in our buildings as I can and have real, authentic, genuine relationships so that there's connectivity here. And I think, man, it's important as head coach to know your players and to know your staff, because if you don't know them, I don't know how you coach them. I don't know how to really coach a guy the way he needs to be coached as hard as I can coach him without really knowing them on some level that's deeper than just going to football practice.
All right, Coach, now we're out of time. I want to get this in real fast, and I know Francis has got one more, but you said, I believe I heard on one of your interviews, that you loved the challenge. You tried to find something good to work off, and you went out in the first game against somebody. Maybe it was when you're at Troy, and your quarterback threw it an interception, and you said, "That's okay. I wanted to see the defense anyway."
Yeah, so there's a video of Jocko Willink, Navy SEAL, where he basically talks about when something bad happens, how do you respond? You should respond with the mindset of good. You get a chance to grow, get a chance to learn, get a chance to recalibrate and show back up and maybe reinvent myself. And so, that game that you're speaking of, my first year as head coach at Troy, we play Ole Miss at Ole Miss. We lose 27-10. Monty Kiffin comes over to the tunnel after the game. We hang out and talk for a little while. I have a great deal of respect for Monty. God rest his soul, but Monty was awesome after the game with me, and very encouraging. Then we go play an FCS team. We win that game, and then week 3 we play at App State right after they had just beaten Texas A&M at A&M, and we lose on a Hail Mary. But the first play of the game on offense is an interception by our quarterback. And man, when things happen bad on game day, I'm kind of different, maybe a little bit crazy, but I go on the headset and when something bad happens, I go, "Hey, good. That's what we wanted to happen. We wanted to go play defense." Or good. I was kind of hoping we'd throw a pick just to see if they could catch, and just, I say stuff that's a little bit, just trying to help our guys understand, like, hey, something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when you respond like, "Oh, shucks, man, what a bad deal," or you hang your head or you mope, man, you've lost. When you respond to things that go bad and you go, "Good, opportunity to get better here."
Yeah.
Then that's when you've got the mental toughness, going back to Franz's question earlier. Now you got the mental toughness to overcome anything that comes your way.
Yep. I know I'll get back to Franz in a second, but a daily scorecard for each person as a winner and loser. Wow. Every day.
Yeah, there's a winner and loser to everything. We do our mat drills. You're paired up with the same guy all morning, and you either won or you lost every day. You didn't just get by. And look, I probably hate losing more than I like winning. Like, I like winning. I'm good with it, but I really like winning just because I hate losing. Like, I freaking hate it. And so it's important, I think, for guys to understand, were you a winner in this drill or were you a loser in this drill?
A lot
Sounds
of
familiar, Franz. Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of coaches tell me that if you're going to be successful, you can be a friend, but you can't be their buddy. Would you talk about that?
Yeah, I'd say this, Franz. Like, people ask me all the time, "Are you a player's coach?" And I say, "Well, hell yeah, I'm a player's coach, because if there were no players, there'd be no coaches."
Yeah.
Like, my job is to coach the players, but I'm also not here to be their friend. I think Nick Saban used to have a great quote. He said, if you want to be liked, don't be a leader, go sell ice cream. Like, I'm not here to be liked. Like, my job as head football coach of Florida is not to be liked. Now, I want our guys to know that I love them and that I care about them. But sometimes when you love people and you care about them and you're pushing them and you're challenging them to grow to become their best, they may not like some things you ask them to do.
Yeah.
I don't wake up and go, "Man, I hope our team likes me today." Like that. I could really care less if they like me. What I do want them to know is that I love them, and I'm going to give them everything I can to help them become their best. And sometimes you're going to think, "Man, this dude doesn't like me. Like, he's crazy." That's fine. But I want them to be able to put their head to bed at night and know, "Man, I got their back, and I'm going to do everything I can to help them achieve everything in my power so they can become their best."
Crazy good, crazy good. Coach, I know we're running out of time, but how do you like to hit some real quick ones, some pop and goes, paparazzi, one-word answer, just real quick to get through these. All right? You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How do you describe your life in a single word?
Fulfilling.
What's a common misconception that people have about you?
Oh, one word?
Well, you can use more. No, you can use more.
I think that I'm just a defensive-minded coach. I really am in the weeds on special teams, and I probably have more fun at practice interacting and being involved with our offense, to be quite honest with you.
All right. So what's your favorite non-work thing that you do in your life?
My favorite what?
Non-work thing.
Oh, non-work thing. You know what? It's my family. Like, I'm a family guy. I love my wife and my kids, and I'm not a golfer. I don't really. My only hobby I have is football. My family's really my thing I do away from here.
All right. What's the first thing that blew you away about being the head coach of the Florida Gators in your experience on the first day?
Just the outpouring of people reaching out, telling me congrats, fired up for you, and then just the reception here of how welcoming people have been, and you know, I grew up. I mean, I watched the Florida Gators play Alabama in the early '90s at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, about 2 hours from where I grew up, and so just walking around the building and seeing the script Gators or seeing the Gator head, I'll never forget my first day in this building.
All right, let fans go from here. I have one more quarterback competition. You had 3 guys in competition. We talk about 2. People want to know, is that a real competition? I say it is. I know you'll probably say the same, right?
Everything's a competition. There's not any job on our team that's spoken for. Like I say it like this: Jaden Ball has been the starting running back here. Jaden Ball probably has the inside track to be the starting running back here, but he's got to show up tomorrow and practice his ass off. And if he doesn't, he won't be. All right. And so same goes with the quarterbacks. I don't really decide who starts. They do. You know what? They go to practice every day. They perform every day. They prepare. They lead. And the players, I tell our team all the time, I've never decided who starts. The players decide. And everything's open competition. Every job in our building is open for competition.
Friends?
I have one quick question. What part of football was the most fun for you when you were a player? Hitting people? Everybody's got something that they remember that was fun.
Yeah, I just love competing, you know, and I've always loved practice. Practice to me has always been so enjoyable. Obviously, game days, everybody gets excited for, but I've always loved just the opportunity to go to practice.
Okay, Coach, I know you're going to wrap this up, but you told Frank Frangie we didn't come here to be average. How do you win so much?
Well, it takes good players. All right, starts with players. Like I tell you all the time, you know, coaches can lose games, players win games, man. Like you got to have good players. No coach has ever won games with bad players. I'm not saying we've always had the best roster, but we've been very fortunate to coach a lot of great players and good people in this game. But I think creating a belief that we're going to find a way no matter what, creating a toughness and a mindset that we like treading water in the deep end and outlasting our opponent, and finding a way to get the win, maybe even when things don't look the best. And we're going to find a way no matter what the circumstances are. And then getting guys to buy into each other and care about each other and fight for each other.
All right, last one. We lost friends. I want to say this is a serious one. You ready? Boxers or briefs?
Boxer briefs.
Boxer briefs, both. You make them both. Okay.
The combination. Boxer briefs.
There you go. Hey, John, welcome. Thank you again for what you're doing for the media, for the team. It's exciting. Even old guys like us can get excited about this. I know you're pumped. We're pumped. Let's do this.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me on. Go Gators.
Appreciate it. All right. Jon Sumrall, head coach of the Florida Gators there. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So we will, we lost friends along the way someplace, but thanks for his time and his generosity there. And we will, tonight on the program, we'll be talking about this and talking about what's coming up with the basketball team. A lot of basketball talk. What a game last night. And certainly it's going to be exciting Saturday when they go to Kentucky to wrap up the season. Tremendous. Really a lot of stuff to talk about there. But Coach, I really like what he said, is talking about how much he likes it. You can tell he likes being here. He did say there was a real competition, which we talked about, and the quarterback, I thought there was. And he says he is going to try to interact with every player every day. That's almost impossible. It is impossible. He seems like a guy who actually bites off more than he can chew. Yeah, that seems like what he is, and that's okay with me. I'm that kind of guy too. I get that. The daily scorecard for each person, That reminds me of Steve Spurrier. Remember Spurrier, when he started out in Little League Baseball, his dad called the team over. He was the coach, and he asked him, how many of you believe it doesn't matter if you win or lose as long as you try your hardest? And a bunch of people raised their hands, and Steve did not. And Reverend Spurrier said, that's not true. It does matter. That's why they keep score. It appears as though coach is going to be keeping score on a lot of things. And I think that they understand that. They're going to be evaluated. He's very high on Buster Faulkner and Brad White. Didn't have time this time to talk to him anymore about it. We will next time, hopefully. I didn't get into the question of one of his favorite mantras. The last coach got a little problem having mantras, if you remember. Scared money, yeah. He said this earlier today. If you're juiceless, then you are useless. So energy is a big part of this. And that's what he's bringing. I love his ideas on connectivity, with connecting everybody, former players, coaches, what have you, and getting the media in the back door and taking time with the small guys and the old guys, which we do appreciate. So, yeah, you heard his paparazzi question. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I think we've lost Brendan. You there, Brendan? Go ahead and hop on and let's do this. Yeah, let's see if okay, Brendan, that wraps it up. It's a good day. Thanks for Coach Summerall. Don't forget, we're talking tonight more about the basketball team. Thanks again to University of Florida, Scott Burns, and Jon Sumrall for today's interview. Good evening. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that as I did. We're going to be joined now by our guests, Ali Peak Wilbur and Franz Beard, and we're going to tell you about our sponsors tonight real quick before we say hello to them. Well, looks like we've lost Franz again already. Started out good. Hey, Ali.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm just sort of, these things with this technology are kind of driving me nuts. Here's Franz again. Now he's gone again. So anyway, Ali, I know you probably got to hear part of the interview. You were, by the way, the first, I think, one of the first to have Jon Sumrall. And he is, I don't see how he can last this pace doing all these interviews. He's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I will be shocked if it continues at this pace in the long run, but I think it's so smart. And I heard him say on somebody else's, I can't remember, some interview he did this week. He has done a bunch over the last few weeks. He said something about really it being important to do some of the smaller ones to him. And he said something about the people that aren't necessarily in the press conferences every week, and the people that, that maybe aren't the national guys, but that have an important viewpoint. And I thought that was so neat.
Insightful.
And so and honestly though, he's right, because Gator fans aren't getting their Gator news from ESPN. And I think he might be the first coach that Florida's had that actually realizes that.
Great point.
Yes. Media has changed
so much.
And I do think that fans of sports teams get their information from people that they view as loyal to the program.
Trust them.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you got going for you. You're very trustworthy. I mean, you're mired knee deep in everything orange and blue with all the stuff around you. Although in this studio, you don't see it as much as we did before. And you're so embedded in the program since your grandfather's days. But you know what? You still have a really good objective voice. So I think, again, I don't want to jump in too early here because we haven't seen him coach a game. But he's a straight up guy. Did he say anything there at the end that struck you at all? I know you talked to him.
I think when you guys asked him about whether he would have really started or really pushed back spring practice, and he's bringing some old school football to this new NIL era. And I do think it probably surprised some guys that it was like, no, you got to earn this. I'm not just going to say, okay, that amount of time has passed, so you've passed the gauntlet. Let's move on to the next phase. Like, I think that it's so important and so good that he is making them earn what they have, because that is going to pay dividends later on. And it is kind of an old school way of looking at football. And I noted that he said very first period is special teams. That's exactly how Urban did it. That is not how it has been done the last 4 years. Special teams was like the last period, whoever happened to still be standing from practice and, didn't walk off or whatever. So that's a huge change. And I think that that's important. It's interesting listening to him talk about Urban. You can see how much respect he has. He has a lot of respect for Spurrier as well, and Warfel. And it feels like he thinks it's so cool to be the head coach of the University of Florida. He feels so honored. And I think that had we hired Kiffin, it probably would have been the exact reverse. He would have wanted us to feel grateful that he was willing to come here with all the options that he had. I never got the feeling from Billy that he loved being a Gator or was grateful for the opportunity. That doesn't mean he wasn't a good guy and he didn't care about his players, but he just never gave me the feeling that man, this is such a special place to be. And it is a special place. And this fan base deserves a coach who believes that too.
Yeah, he said later on, and I'm not sure what part you heard, but I asked him, I pushed back a little bit and said, number one, you said you're going to interact with every player. And he says, well, I mean, in some fashion. I realize there might be days where I don't have to actually specifically talk with them, but he did actually. He wants to. They're not invisible to him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He sees people. It's like he sees the younger people online, the older people online, the non-big box people, like us as independents. He values that, and that's all we could possibly hope for, to be valued.
And didn't you get the vibe? I know they tell us 20 minutes or whatever, but I never felt rushed. Did you ever feel?
No, I actually had to cut him off because I promised I would not go over. And I did go over 4 minutes anyway. And I didn't mean to, but anyway, no, 3 minutes. I'm sorry. But he was great. I thought he said something about Urban earlier in the broadcast. When he goes on to talk to Urban, I could talk to that guy for hours.
Yeah.
There's a brotherhood there.
Yeah.
I
think they're very similarly wired. I mean, at least from my limited experience with him, it seems like they are very similar level of intensity, and that works at Florida. So that's great. And like you said, and I've said it, he's going to have to win. And so none of this is going to matter if we can't get some wins on the field, but it feels like he's going to be able to accomplish it. He's selling me on this part of it for sure.
Mr. Bassett makes a good point. One of the things about him, I've only really seen publicly for a few months, and most recently in the last couple of weeks, that he is consistent. What he says. They didn't necessarily repeat the same thing or the same topics, but he is letting you know where he stands. And I haven't heard any crack in that facade at all. Have you?
No. And that consistently himself, when it was first getting leaked that he was going to be the head coach, and I was in the stands for the Florida State game, and Eric's cousin grew up with him. And so he was texting me and he's like, Allie, you got to stop. This is going to be such a great hire. Stop saying you don't like the hire. Wait. And whatever. But one of the things he said to me was, he's like, he's so much like Eric in that he is who he is, and no one's ever going to change that about him. And he's like, but that's why he's going to be such a good fit here. And I do love that. I think that, the fact that he is who he is, whether he's at Tulane or Troy or the University of Florida or, the sidelines of a Gator basketball game or, whatever, that he is who he is refreshing. And he is the same person in every interview that I've watched. It's not the same sound bites, which is great, but it's the same demeanor. It's the same belief system. There's no putting on an act. It just is who he is.
Yeah, he is, and he says he'll be that way. He said, doesn't matter if he goes and coaches high school ball, he's going to be who he is. And I think that I really like this guy. And I made this comment in a column I wrote a couple of days ago. And I think most people got it, but a couple didn't. And I said, if I could talk to Jon Sumrall before he takes over, I would say to him, don't do anything different. You're pitching a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
And people said, oh, wait a minute, buddy. He hadn't coached it. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
I know he hadn't coached the game yet. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But where we want him to be right now is I don't know that I would change anything so far that I've seen. Would you?
No, nothing I would change right now. And again, he's going to have to win, but he is doing a great job selling his vision. He's doing a great job assimilating. He's taken such an interest in who we are as a fan base and a university. I think he's doing all of the right things.
Showing up at the basketball games is fantastic.
And he's there with his son, and they're high-fiving, and he's high-fiving Golden. Are you kidding? That's exactly what we want. Like,
I know. It's like we mailed order a guy. We want him like, here's what we want, and they sent it to us. So let me just say a couple of things. First of all, thanks to Meldon Law for making this possible. Kind of a commercial-free, although I will say, don't forget, folks, Jeffrey Meldon is Mr. Gator. He's a great attorney. Check him. If you have any legal needs, check them out. Go online and give away great stuff there too. So, and also the 3 Heismans, 2 events. Have you heard about this? One legendary
I saw
day.
it on your social media, but I need more information about
Well, I'm going to tell you the best I can over the next few nights. They're going to have, I know a little bit about it. Steve Spurrier, Danny Werfel, Tim Tebow going to be there at the Legends Gala. Okay. It's a pretty pricey ticket. But it's worth it because I'm understanding, and I'm going to get Freddie and maybe Danny on later and maybe Steve Spurrier and talk about this. They're going to give you a chance to video you catching a pass from Danny Werfel.
Oh, how cool.
And I mentioned it to Shane, and he said, well, Coach will probably be handling it all. And I'm throwing it. But at March 30th at the Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, you can check them out, and you're called FloridaLegends.com, FLLegends.com, and they got the information. I'll be bringing more to you about it and tell you these next few nights that, in fact, I've got here a little bit of a soundbite I want to play for those who are interested, and then we'll get back to the topic at hand, which is getting to talk to the new coach, first time in 5 years. I broke my drought finally, huh? How about that? Amazing. Yeah. So let me, Kevin is lost. He can't find the link, but let me see if I can find this real quick, and we'll play it, and then we'll go about our business of, all right. You don't have your producer never has problems. I think I must create problems for mine. It's that kind of thing. All right, let me get Freddie in here and get his this little deal here, because I want to make sure you guys know there'll be more about it, but at the moment this is all we have. So, all right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me get Kevin. You talk for a second. You talk about the basketball game. Well, I'll go and get Kevin the link. Okay.
Okay. Well, the Gators, the basketball team looked great. That was another, what a cool way to go out for senior night. Loved. Wow. What is the walk-on's name that shot at the end?
Yeah, I got it somewhere down there.
I thought that was
cool.
So cool. Always a sucker for walk-on stories, but this team is clicking on all cylinders right now. It is so fun to watch. And now you're watching all of the national writers kind of change from Florida will be a 4 seed to a 3 seed. Now we're getting Florida's going to be the last 1 seed if they continue on this path. It's interesting to watch the national media kind of get on board for this Gator team, which, they probably should have gotten on board well before now. But hey, Franz.
Let me say hello. You hadn't appeared, Franz. You weren't online. That's why. We just saw you for the first time. I don't know why you were black. It was a black box. But thank you for joining. Go ahead. Chime in. Let's jump in and talk about basketball. I want to forget this 3 Legends thing. We'll talk about it later. I'm going to go over tonight because I got a lot of things going on. Franz, We talked about this earlier. First of all, your thoughts to Allie about your interaction with the head football coach of the Florida Gators.
The same as it was the first time I interacted with him. A genuine guy who I get the impression he's the kind of guy that if you don't want to know the answer, do not ask the question, because he's going to give you what's on his mind. And he's not a guy that's going to give you the answer you necessarily want to hear, but he's going to give you the answer that he believes in his heart and his mind is the right answer. And I like that about him. I asked a question about him about can he create the same kind of team camaraderie and so forth, the connectivity that Todd has, because it's Todd's got to deal with 40, maybe 50 people when you count. He's got 15 players. He's got 7 assistant coaches, video people, managers, everything.
Yeah.
Analysts. He's got maybe 50 people to deal with. Jon Sumrall's got 200. And quite a difference between 200 and 50. And, it was interesting because he didn't duck and dodge the question. He said, I think it's possible, but he goes on to say, I just want these guys to understand this. I'm going to, I asked him too, I said, can you be their friend? Or I said, because Ron Zook tried to be everybody's buddy. That didn't work. I love Ron, but he spent too much time being everybody's buddy.
Well, he made that clear. He said, and you just heard him say, I'm not here. I don't care if they don't like me. He was a soundbite.
He said, I don't care if they like me or not, but they got to know I'll have their back and I want what's best for them.
And I love them.
And, that's Todd Golden, if you think about it, because Todd Golden has that relationship with the kids he's got, because he's not always going to tell them maybe what they want to hear. I guarantee you those 5-star freshmen like CJ Ingram and Alex Lloyd want to play a lot more than they're playing. They're 5-star guys.
Yeah.
But they understand that he's going to let them develop. And all they got to do is look at Tommy Hawk and Alex Condon, who came here as no stars, and Ruben, who came here as a 1-star. Yeah. Look at what they are. And that's because he let those guys develop. And I think that Todd's the kind of guy that's going to he's going to go to the portal to get what he's got to have for right now. And the other guys are going to have to develop and build their way into it.
Like before we get into basketball in the weeds, because we got Kevin Brockway from Ring On, let you guys thrash this out. I want to talk a little bit of football and where we are at this point in time. I've just seen some videos. I haven't had an opportunity to go up and watch practice. And I like the fact that he went down and worked out with the offensive lineman, Allie, on a deadlift. He went down and lifted with the offensive lineman, not the wide receivers. He said he won't be doing that again. And he says they're already they're stronger now in 2 weeks. Yeah. That's something that I didn't pick up on much as Napier, that being a problem. I thought they were pretty happy. I'll get your thoughts on that, Allie, and then friends. Then we'll go get our friend Kevin Brockway and talk about some basketball, big game on Saturday. What do you think there, Allie?
Are you asking whether I thought that strength and conditioning was a problem prior to this?
Yeah.
I actually did. I did think strength and conditioning was an issue, not in terms of, you're absolutely gassed at the end of the fourth quarter, but we were getting manhandled. So there was a toughness factor that absolutely was missing. Again, I think our guys were in shape. I just don't think that they were mentally or physically tough enough to play football in the SEC. And I do think that stems from your strength and conditioning. And, Napier made a switch a year and a half in with strength and conditioning, right from the jump. I think players thought it got better, and maybe it got a tick better, but I think that mental component that Summerall brings is sometimes discounted by coaches. You can have all the right workout plans, but if you are not mentally tough enough, it's not enough that you are physically fit.
Friends, you agree or disagree?
Well,
that guy's name who got the 3-pointer though was Joseph. Yeah. Go ahead.
That was awesome. That was a cool one.
I'll give you a great example. Shane remembers this guy quite well. Florida recruited a guy named Scott Jocelyn out of Orlando Evans. He was the #1 high school offensive lineman in the country. People said this guy is a game changer. He could go straight to the NFL. Shane doesn't remember him ever playing a snap. And started up here. He was not mentally tough. And that's what Jon Sumrall said today. He said, it starts in the mind. He says, if you're not tough up here, you'll never be tough down here. Thaddeus Bullard, my gosh, greatest body in the world. And look at what he's done in the WWE. But he hardly played it down. And this is a guy that would walk on the field and you look, my gosh, they carve statues to people like this.
Eric refers to this as look like Tarzan, play like Jane.
Yeah, we heard that one.
Yeah.
All airport team, right? That's what
Yeah. So let's say hello, good evening to Kevin Brockway, and let's shift our mode for a second to basketball. I mean, what a game when you're down by 10. And quite frankly, I was a little bit worried. I'm thinking I should know better, but they just weren't going to get done. And they just threw it in high gear. And friends and Kevin and Allie, they went on an 18-0 run. 18-0. Amazing. Huh? What do you think here, Kevin?
Well, a couple of factors. Number one, you had a senior day ceremony. Sometimes when you have it before a game, it can kind of bleed into a game a little bit. Mississippi State came out, I think they were 10-13. And then, not playing Hauk, I mean, you're playing a different starting lineup. You have Handlogden at the 4, I think. You had Condon at the 3. It takes a little bit of an adjustment offensively and defensively, but they were getting beat a lot defensively very early in the game, uncharacteristically giving up open layups. Mississippi State found a few things, a few holes, and their ball movement was pretty good. But once Florida adjusted and locked down, then you saw the defense potential of this team. And the identity of this team has to be defense. Now, they are shooting better, obviously. I mean, they were 36% from 3 in February. First game out of March for 36%. So that gives you a little bit of rope. But I still think the identity of this team has to be defense, getting stops, getting out on the break, and finishing in transition, which is what they've really done so well during this win streak.
Yeah, friends had a different lineup last night. They switched. Handlow would play a different position. He said they never even done that in practice. Man, that looked pretty good, didn't it?
Well, here's the thing: is that it's all of a sudden Florida decided enough of the nonsense, and it was over. And this is a team I think that can do that, guys. I think this is a team that has that ability to just say enough is enough and take over a ball game. You look at the Alabama game was very, very close for a while. And then all of a sudden Florida makes a spurt at the end of the half and then starts out the second half, another spurt. They just have that ability to turn it on. And I don't think it's necessarily one of these things that they get bored or whatever like that. I think it's just a matter of all of a sudden it all starts to click for these guys. And once it does, it's pretty much bad news for the other people.
Yeah, you likened it the other day, I think, to a baseball team who gets hot, starts doing the streaks, they're hitting the baseball. That's a good analogy. And I don't know, Allie, they won the SEC outright last night. The place was really rocking. Is this something we're getting too used to too fast, starting expecting this or what? Because they got a tall mountain to climb yet now. I'm going to tell you what, a couple of those teams like Michigan look like they are really be a tough matchup.
I mean, I think winning a national title is incredibly difficult. So this team could have an incredible season and still not hoist its trophy for the second year in a row. But I think this team is going to be incredibly difficult to beat. And I think there's a little dynasty being built. I don't want to say, we're winning.
Ooh, the D word.
I don't want to say we're winning a title again this year, but like the level of play has been elevated back to what it was when Billy Donovan was at Florida. There is a high standard that is being met currently, and it's fun. And I think I saw some article today that was saying that like Florida's basketball environment is getting so good, and how the players are buying into, or excuse me, the students are buying into this. And I wanted to be like, are you kidding? We were like this. This is not new for Florida. We're just back to where we belong for basketball. But I think they're going to make a deep run. I'm interested to see how they play in the SEC tournament. Who's gonna beat them right now in the SEC?
If they're going to lose a game, it'll be at the SEC. I don't think they'll lose a game once they hit the NCAA tournament.
Okay, so is that a title prediction there?
Franz, here's an interesting school of thought with that, right? So the 3 years they won national championships, they won the SEC tournament. So I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, just go out early or whatever, and just, I don't buy into that. I think momentum is
don't either. I think that's this team wants to win.
Yeah. I think momentum is real, and I think you just try to win as much as you can, and you don't necessarily, tank a game just to get some extra rest or whatever, because I don't think that that's necessarily true. That's proven not to be true in the case of Florida.
I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to try to bag it in. I just think that if there's a game they're going to lose, because last year they lost to Georgia, and my goodness, everybody thought, oh, Florida's bubble had burst, and then they go on, they win their now last 12 ball games.
Yeah.
So, I think this team is better than last year right now, and I'll tell you why. When I see the freshmen stepping up, like we saw Brown, now we've seen Clymer, what's that, the kids?
Ingram.
Ingram, yeah. And now we already know what these young guys can do. But these guys are not just token players. They can, now we see 3-point shots being made by freshmen. Yeah. And let me just say this right now. I'll put it to all three of you. How good is Alex Condon? He's on fire.
Yeah, he's kind of figured it out these last couple of weeks. Brown, a sophomore, by the way, but has really emerged, and I think this is just totally helps their depth along with Klavchar. Buddy, I could see a scenario in the SEC tournament where I go back to 2007 where they didn't trail the whole SEC tournament. I think Florida is that much better than the rest of the league. Now, how that's going to play out in the tournament remains to be seen, because I think second weekend you can get a tough Big 12 team. Are you battle tested at that point? But they are heads and shoulders above the rest of the SEC right now, to the point where I think they're just going to roll and win these next 4 games and go to the tournament with a lot of confidence.
Yeah. I mean, I can't, first of all, Franz, this is probably the best question asked for you, but any of you guys could answer this. Is there a chance that Tommy Hawk doesn't play in the SEC tournament?
Good question.
There's Tommy Hawk will be playing Saturday. Could have played last night. And, they just, and I don't think it was a matter of disrespecting Mississippi State, but I just don't think, I think Todd looked at that and said, ain't no way these guys are beating us with or without him. And it gave him that extra day of rest. I don't know if any of you guys have ever had a high ankle sprain or just one that kind of lingered. I've had 2 or 3 high ankle sprains. I lived on ankle sprains in high school back when we had canvas shoes, but
kids.
No, we wore Chuck
Taylor's.
Chuck Taylor All-Stars. But
expensive shoes, not the $8 ones.
They gave him the extra day off, and look at what happened. Here I was telling Buddy earlier, Tommy averages about 17 a game. What did Isaiah Brown and CJ Ingram score last night? 17.
Yeah.
Minor little detail.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to do this, and then we'll get your thoughts on this event coming up. This is something I wanted to play for you because I think it's worth knowing about. Let's see if I can get it turned up. It's
Taking a handoff from the legendary Steve Spurrier? Then you need to join the Florida Legends Experience on Monday, March 30th at the Alachua County at Celebration Point. You'll receive a personal video of your touchdown and a football signed by the Gator Legends. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Gator history.
That Isaiah 117 is good for kids. Really good. Allie, I can see you scoring a touchdown, catching the ball, scoring, getting a video. Really, don't you think, guys? She should go there.
Why not?
And the tickets are a little pricey, but those are. There's two of them, by the way. There's one in the daytime and one in the evening. So
okay, I was wondering when it said two events, what that meant. Yeah. So it's the same event, but it's
same day, March 30th. You can go to FL Legends if you need to check it out. FL Legends. And they'll tell you all that. I'll be doing this all every day for the whole time here. So, All right. So, your best scenario right now, other than we know the ultimate prize and what they're doing, if these young guys start developing, and they're getting behind by 10 now in basketball and winning by 34 or whatever. I mean, this is ridiculous, Kevin.
Yeah, I think this is a Final Four team now, the way it's constructed, and then from there you just wait and see. But I think that even if they're a 2 seed, I think the 1 seed is going to be very unhappy, whatever bracket they're in, because I think that they're playing this well right now, and there's something to be said for that, and there's something to be said for the job that Todd has done. I think he should be SEC Coach of the Year, no question. A lot of people are going to say Bucky McMillan, but I think that how this team kind of transformed itself and learned to play its identity from January on right now is pretty impressive.
Friends, I know you get burns your blood when they bring up Bucky's name, and you think about Todd. What's the guy got to do to win the Coach of the Year, for crying out loud?
Well, I don't know. Ask Jake Slaughter what it takes to be all SEC.
That's true.
Center among the football coaches.
Yeah.
Who knows? And Todd says he doesn't give a rat's ass, and you know what? He doesn't.
Yeah.
The only thing he cares
about. Everybody has care. Your pride, your ego there. Maybe not. It's not imminent, but it still hurts.
Todd will use that, and that's the thing that I like about Todd is Todd always is thinking. Somebody was saying last night he's playing 4 boards of chess while the rest of us are playing Chinese one board of Chinese checkers and losing. And he's one of these guys that's going down the line, making the move and then coming back to the first one and kicking everybody's butt. And he will use that as motivation. I guarantee you, he's been using the motivation all year. They don't respect you. He's been in those guards' ears saying, you can't make shots. Look at these guys. They tell you they can't. Well,
all right. Final one.
Guess what they're doing? They're making shots now.
Yeah. Allie, final one from you. We're going to say goodnight. This has got to be your time. As someone who's so much Mrs. or Ms. Gator, your DNA just reeks with orange and blue. You got pictures all over your house of your 19 members of your family who played. Your husband, and now you got your guy at the football coach. You're very happy, and your basketball team has an opportunity to win a national championship. You know that song by Stevie Winwood, "Back in the High Life Again." Allie, that's what it feels like for you, right?
Yeah, and you know what? It's not just Gator basketball and Gator football. Gator gymnastics is looking really good. Yeah. Softball, baseball, track just cleaned up last week. Tennis, it's an embarrassment of riches in Gainesville right now. It's fun to be a Gator. We've been missing. I mean, honestly, the non-revenue sports have been doing it for us, consistently for years and years. It's basketball having stepped up last year, this year. It's the hope of football turning over a new leaf. It's an exciting time to be a Gator, and I can't wait to get back up to Gainesville. Coming for the spring game. I'm going to try and come in and watch some spring practice with Eric. But I am happy. It is a good time to be a Gator.
Yeah. Right now. Gymnastics big meet this weekend with LSU, I know.
Huge. I know on Sunday. I'm so bummed. My girls have a gymnastics meet on their own. So but we're
Toughness.
going to be Zoom. We're going to bring the iPad. We're going to watch it.
There you go. You can also DVR it, about this stuff. I guess you can. Anymore, I don't know. Sometimes they don't let you. And then the baseball team, Kevin O'Sullivan now officially has filed for homestead exemption at Coral Gables because he owns it, man.
There is nothing better than beating Miami. That's one of my favorite series that we have in
beating
baseball.
them like a rented mule.
There's nothing more fun. I kind of do wish they'd move the Florida State games to just a weekend series. I feel like that would be that would make it on par with the Miami series.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most fun series we play every single year. It's always great to dominate Miami, and baseball team's clicking right now.
Yeah, France.
It's revenge for football. It's sweet, right?
Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. By the way, and he's in the Miami alum. What about how about the softball team? I haven't heard about Ava Brown. I know she was carted off with an injury, but I haven't heard anymore. You guys heard any more about her?
I have not, but I know
She
this.
tweeted something.
Posted something, that she's going to be. I think she's going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she said she's got some rehab ahead of her, but that it's not as bad as they thought it was, or something.
Okay,
It didn't
that's
say
good.
like
That's
what.
the first report I've heard. I jumped on Shane because his buddy's the coach. You can at least get some information. We've been sitting around for 3 days. Hey guys, great to have you on tonight. What a wonderful show to have. We got a football coach on, France. It only took us 5 years, for crying out loud. And Allie had broke through, what, 3 weeks ago? Allie?
Yeah, I think it was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, it was fun to have him on and talking. Kevin, it's nice to know that we're not totally invisible, us old people, especially in France. Thank
when
you.
he sits down with Kevin, he'll have run the right gauntlet.
Well, we did it the right way. We all applied. Allie taught me that. You just ask and you get in a queue. And we got in a queue and we got the interview. So I can't blame anybody. I've got to say Scott Burns is a man of his word. I can't say that about the guy who used to be there. I'm sorry.
Best SID, absolutely the best.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
goodness.
he's great at his job. He is a joy to work with.
Hey, thanks, guys. Great job, everybody. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, France. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. And by the way, the interview will be up on YouTube with him if you want to see it. So thanks, guys. Good night. I want to thank our guests and our sponsors. I want to thank our coach as well for his participation in this. I want to thank our sponsors, particularly. Don't forget this Florida Legends Night. We'll talk more about it tomorrow night and every night. Get you more information about it. We're supposed to have Danny Werfel on the program and maybe Coach Spurrier. I want to tell you about Titan MRI and Imaging. It's important that you know about this company because if you're a kind of person who doesn't like to give up your afternoon job to go get an MRI, you don't have to do that anymore. They're now expanding. I'm still waiting for the final word about Ocala, but I know they've got in Gainesville, they've got 2 locations to serve you with Park Avenue and Millennium. Now they got also Lake City with all of Columbia County and Valdosta. They offer the same great customer service. There's a concept, customer service, where you don't hardly get that anymore. They care about you, and they want you to know they'll work with you through their convenient self-pay options, etc. They give you CAT scans, MRIs, X-rays, ultrasounds. And they have the larger MRI machines. That's really important to me. Don't have to worry about claustrophobia. You call us out one of those things. Sometimes you get to thinking, I don't know about this. But they are aware of the fact that you have that. And so check them out. Titan MRI is your choice. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up with this. And we'll there we go. Despite all the gremlins, we got it on the air tonight. And it's great being with you. Thanks very much. Don't forget, back tomorrow night with our regular crew. And we'll have Tony Barnhart tomorrow night and all the Lauren Bennett. So stay tuned for lots of exciting stuff right here. An exciting time right now to be a Florida Gator and a fan or a spectator or even a writer or broadcaster.